Welcome to another episode of Burn the Wagon, where we're here to burn the wagon that is capitalism, patriarchy, and colonialism. Today, my guest is Lady Shug. And first, we're going to get a little prayer going to make sure we get our conversation going the right way. And we'll get going on the questions that we have. I want to send love to anybody out there suffering from domestic violence issues. I want to send love to anybody out there suffering from addiction issues. I want to send love to any of our unhoused community out there. I want to send love to the land that we stand on. And today I'm coming to you from Pomo territory. I want to send love to our relatives out in Sudan, Congo, and Palestine, and everywhere else colonization has affected us. Thank you for joining us today. My guest is Lady Shug. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get started with what tribe are you from, or tribes if you're from multiple tribes, because there's people that definitely are from multiple tribes. So yeah, we'll start off there.
Hi, relatives. My name is Lady Shug. I am Caucasian. I'm just kidding. That's horrible. That'd be horrible. Imagine. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I had to. You know I had to.
I love it. You're starting off with a joke right off the bat.
Hey, sometimes us as us doing the work, humor, especially for Indigenous communities, that's what gets us through the day. But in serious note, in my mind, I'm an old Caucasian rich woman, but no, I'm not. Uh, what's up, relatives? My name is Lady Shug, and I come to you all the way in my territory of the Diné Nation, which is known as the Navajo Nation. I am on my beautiful land and territory. I'm so happy to be here. And I hope you like my
Heck yeah.
humor.
Yeah, that was prime time. I like you said, natives, like, they joke, they joke, but like they get by things by joking, and like a lot of natives, like, like, you gotta, if they mess with you, you gotta, it's like a good feeling, because like that
Yeah.
means they're messing with you, like they like you
Yeah.
or whatever, you know what I mean? They're down with you. At
If
least
you
that's
ain't
how it
if
is
you
out
ain't if
here.
you ain't getting teased from
Exactly.
your elders or even your young folks, what are you really doing? I always say that like our humor and teasing and our campiness and our banter between each other as Indigenous people, it reminds me of like drag. It reminds me of like reading like we have that in drag culture where we read the girls or we kind of like kiki, we cut up, sometimes they cut deep, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're truthful, sometimes they're hateful. But I think that as Indigenous people, we have that too in drag culture. So for me, it kind of like um it's kind of like the same thing for me. So like when I come back to my res and I'm around a bunch of relatives and we're teasing and we're bantering, that's the same thing we do in drag culture. So it's like kind of the same thing for me. I don't know. Some people
I
are gonna
mean,
be
yeah,
some,
like,
some people are gonna be upset that I'm calling them a drag queen because they're doing bantering and kikiing and cutting up.
I'm definitely okay. That's perfect, actually, because that's where we're gonna start. I like to always, no matter what the person's like thing is, whether they're a poet, an artist, I always like to ask, like, what was the beginning? Like, where did you start out? Like, what was your first drag show? And like, was there a person that was like, I think you should do this?
Dang, you're gonna age me. So I started drag right before like when social media it was around, but I mean I grew up on dial-up. So my internet was not like no Wi-Fi, it was the dial-up. We had a home computer that was, if somebody flushed the toilet, the internet will shut everything down. Like there wasn't like a blueprint of what drag was, especially me living on my territory and being so isolated. I came from a small community in my territory. I think I came from a graduating class of like 80 people, and there wasn't really like a high presence of queerness or somebody that was trans or somebody that did drag. I mean, we had television that, depicted people that did drag and that were queer, but they were predominantly people that were cisgender, straight dudes that were not the most fabulous, glamorous people that what drag is. So where I got drag and saw drag was like from the humor of straight men trying to play drag. So I was
Mm.
like, that was never a thing for me to be like, oh, I want to be that because I didn't see the beauty, the glamour of what drag is. It was until I had to move away from my territories where I found my community. But the crazy part is, I never wanted to do drag. I stumbled across drag and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Like the matriarchy of it, the estrogen of it, the beauty, the femininity, the feminine power of drag. I was just like so overwhelmed because I was like, this is glamour, this is like campy, this is beautiful. You see these relatives doing drag, and you see so much power of just like feminine energy, and that's what I was just so attracted to. Um, so I moved away. I moved to LA for a little bit, and then I moved to Las Vegas where I started drag. I kind of was like very shy, timid res kid. I was never wanting to be, in the spotlight. I was taught to always be giving and always be humble of where I came from and what I do. So when I met these relatives that were doing shows, I just established a friendship, a kinship with them, and I started becoming friends with them. I started going to their shows every week, and I started helping backstage. I started doing spotlight. I started helping, pick up the tips from the floor. I started, helping with the lineup. I started helping, zipping in the back, fixing hair. And I was happy with that because I was helping the person be who they were on stage. Never thought I would want to be in front of the stage because I was just not that girl at that time. But there was one time that my mentor, her name is Coco Vega. She's Latina, and she was like, "Oh, so and so called out. You're gonna have to do the show because we don't have nobody to fill it, and you're here. I have a wig, I have a dress, I have everything. Sit down, let me do your makeup." So I did my makeup, and I turned around, looked at myself, was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even recognize myself." And I was like, "Wait, what am I gonna do? I've never done this." Um, so my mentor, her name is Coco Vega. They live in Ohio now. They used to live in Vegas, but they moved back to Ohio. Um, she's the one that put me in drag for the first time, and it was so funny because like my origin story of how I got Lady Shug was, I used to hang around when I was in LA. I used to hang around a lot of the club kids back in the day. Oh my gosh, I'm really aging myself. I used to hang around the club kids in LA, and they always used to like love me because they're like, "Shug, you're so kind and you're sweet as pie, but your looks, your fashion is kind of boogerish." So my nickname was Sugar Booger for the longest. So then when my
Mm.
mom put me in drag, she said, we need your name. And I said, well, all my friends call me, Sugar Booger, you know, and Shug for short, but that's my name. Sugar Booger's fine. And she said, oh, no, 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 honey, if with a face like that and with a heart like that, you are not no booger. She said, from now on, I deem you forever the Lady Shug. And so this was even before Lady Gaga was Lady Gaga, because a lot of people think that I got Lady from Lady Gaga. I was Lady Shug
Mm.
before Gaga. So she probably came from my name. So yes, my mother deemed me to be Lady Shug. She said, "You're no longer a booger. You're forever a lady, Lady Shug." And then
I agree.
that night, it just was kind of like a light bulb or like a switch. Like the spotlight, the curtains opened, the spotlight hit me, and it was like boom. And I didn't realize I had that feminine energy or that power within me, that inner queen inside of me. That
Hmm.
the rest was history. I mean, I was working in the Las Vegas Strip 7 nights a week. So many things that I'd done in drag. I'm so happy that I did. So that's where I started. I'm an OG Vegas girl. It's where Lady Shug was born. Well,
Do
actually,
you
no,
remember
Lady
that
Shug.
first?
Yeah, Lady Shug's always been here, but I didn't know she was there
Hmm.
until that time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. You're not a booger. You're much more. You're 100% more than that. You know.
I mean, I have my booger moments. Don't.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We all do. Do you remember that first song?
Yes. Oh my
That like,
gosh. My first song was Cassie, You and Me. It was like
oh, that's a good
it just
song.
came out like maybe a week before, and it was a bopper. It's still a bopper. And girl, I'm Team Cassie forever. Whoever P. Diddy, you fucked up for fucking her like that. Okay, we cuss on here. Ooh, I don't even
Yeah, 100%.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was
absolutely.
trash. I mean, That what she went through with him, disgusting. So any of y'all that listen to P Diddy, you're trash.
Yeah, I
Don't
try to get all that stuff off my playlist. Like I try to like go through and like look up them artists and like, all right, let's get that off the likes. Let's get that
right,
off the likes. You know
right.
what I mean?
But
But
yeah,
that
it
is
was
a
a
hundred
bopper. I
percent.
mean, it still is. Like every time I hear it, I was like, "Ooh, I did that. I did that."
It's 100% a banger for sure. And w- what's somewhere like that has taken you, drag has taken you where you weren't like expecting it to take you?
Oh my gosh, I'm on HBO. um, I think that's my biggest accomplishment was being on HBO and kind of broadening my horizons within drag. Um, but they're also just being able to produce and have my own tour, which is the La La Land Back tour, where we go to all over the, I should say all over the world, because we went to Finland and to Norway about last year. And we've done museums, like we've gone. So La La Land Back tour is a tour that I produced, and one of my co-hosts is Landa Lakes. She's Chickasaw, another drag artist. We travel all over the world now, international fish. We travel all over the world to uplift and highlight Indigenous drag, but also to highlight Indigenous artistry. So if you're queer, trans, two-spirit, and you're an artist, you don't have to do drag. You can come and be a part of our tour. That's when we uplift you, we pay you, and you're a part of something. Because a lot of times, like these organizations, these prides, these venues, they don't book Indigenous people. So this is what the tour has become. Um, so I'm thankful for that because it's giving me more voice. But yeah, I was on HBO's We're Here, Emmy nominated show. Unfortunately, they stopped filming after season 4, but I was a part of
Mm.
season 1, 2, and 3. So that was a big thing because I'm like, not many people can say they were on HBO, honey. um,
Yeah, I mean, so what was that like being a part of like an HBO production? That's huge.
yeah, I mean, well, we were on season 1 and uh, we were like the blueprint. So again,
Hmm.
breaking the boundaries, so we didn't know what it was. But it came out lovely. I would love to go back. Originally, when they came, they were trying to find people that never did drag.
Hmm.
I think for like a consistency of like 3 weeks before shooting, producers kept calling me and saying, "Hey, tell me your story." But they were like, "You're kind of already established. If you Google, New Mexico drag, your name pops up automatically."
Hmm.
So they wanted somebody that was not established. So they got my little brother. His name is Nate Liminal. He's from Dark Listed Photography, amazing photographer. Jeanette as well. So he was one of the main features, but I was kind of like his Yoda to the whole season. So it was like Nate and Lady Shug. I was his protector when they filmed. And I kind of wish I got my moment where they did my story because mine would have been more radical and more like crazy in your face. Like you don't want to hear it because where I live is a border town and it's very oil field driven. It's very racial towards indigenous people. Like I would have brought all that stuff up. Like the town would have hated me. Well, they already hate me already, but they would have hated me to say how it really was. But it was a good experience. Me going back to season 2 when I went to Hawaii to support my relatives in the mainlands of Hawaii and Kona. I kind of was already like, oh, I already know how this rolls. Like once you start doing with production and different things, it kind of like they're all the same, but then as a person from the res, you never see this like full productions. And so it was a good experience. So I can't wait till I'll be back on TV again. But it was fun. So if you have it, go check it out. We're here. It's still, hopefully they don't cancel it because, sometimes HBO, they get rid of queer TV. And I encourage you all to go watch it because we need more queer media on our TVs because we don't want to be erased.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I was gonna say earlier is like having the La La Land tour, right? Giving indigenous people, queer people, especially like people that want to do drag, like you said earlier, there's not a lot of representation on reservations for
There's none.
sure.
Well,
And I know
not
for
even on our territory, but even at pride ceremonies, even at clubs, you never see an all Indigenous cast. You never see a proud Indigenous person headline anything. So that's what the tour is.
that's super important. And where's next on your guys' tour?
Um, well, I don't know when this is coming out, but we do a lot of conferences. So we're going to a conference in
Oh.
Louisville, Kentucky next week. We have an annual show that we started doing with the Chapter House LA. So it's a femme nonprofit out in Los Angeles. So we do an annual drag show there every year. So that will be coming up too. I think those are two of the things I can think of right now. But also, me and Landa became the founders of Indigenous Drag Story Hour. So if you don't know, Drag Story Hour is a nonprofit where they read books to children and to our elderly and to adults now. And so I want to do something like the La La Land back, but in a space that was a bigger nonprofit. And that's what Story Hour is,
Mm.
Drag Story Hour. So we're the first chapter to be a sister to Drag Story Hour, but it's Indigenous Drag Story Hour. So it's Indigenous stories, it's Indigenous drag storytellers, it's Indigenous artistry, and then even sometimes like some of these books growing up for me, like some of these books were not made for Indigenous people. They were not made for BIPOC people. They were not made for queer kids, trans kids. So sometimes I take these books when I read them and it does say like something like, Sally is X, Y, and Z, this white girl, Sally. I change it. I was like, this relative, Sally, and make it more inclusive. And I decolonized the book. So that's why I'm so happy to have Indigenous Drag Story Hour because it's another form of showing our presence and our existence as queer, two spirit, trans, Indigenous excellence.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. And is there any like a website or anything that
Yeah,
people can support
you
this?
just
Yeah, yeah, cool. What is
you just go to dragstoryhour.org. It has all our books there, and you can book us. So if anybody's out there that works for a company or has a pride, or we've even done story hour at community centers, at Indian community centers, at museums. If you want to book us, even virtually, we've done a lot of stuff virtually. Just hit us up on Drug Story Hour and they can take it over from there. But yeah, so it's so excited. We just started that in the beginning of the year. I want to say like February, March is when we debuted it.
cool? Heck yeah. Are you guys going into schools? Are you guys where are the main places are you guys just getting booked by like you said conferences and
Yeah,
stuff?
conferences, festivals, museums. We haven't got into any schools yet. I mean, ideally, I would love to. But when you go into schools, it's a little bit harder because you get a lot more pushback.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I hope that I can do like a Indigenous Drag Story Hour on my territory, on my reservation at these Indigenous schools. I think that would be amazing.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask too. Is like was you said your graduating class was 80 people? Was that on the res?
Yeah, it was on my,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, because I like to ask like if people grew up on the res or not, because a lot of people listening might not realize that there are native people off res and on res.
Yeah.
So like I like to
So
be able to like
I
show.
so when I was there, when I left my territory and my reservation, I was like, I'm not coming back. There's nothing here for me. But guess where I'm at now? I came back. I did the city life. It was great. I probably would have had a house in Vegas, but I don't know. I just love living in my territory. I love seeing people that look like me. I love people that talk like me. I even like how people smell like me, if that makes any sense to anybody. I feel so much love and power being back in the area that I grew up on my territory. The city is great. I don't mind visiting it, but I don't know if I can live there again. So I think I'm good back in my territory.
Yeah, I agree because I lived. I don't know if you heard of Santa Cruz, California.
Mhm.
It's probably the whitest place in California. And I lived there for 10 years. And one day, like when I got like clean and sober from drinking and all that, like I sat there and I was like, what am I doing here? Like there's no native people here. There's no like just like no like barely any like people of color just like in general. So like just like you said, just the same thing. Like what am I doing here? Like I think it's time to go home,
Yeah.
and that's why I came home and just really started like all of this, like doing this. And like I don't know about you, but like I'm so happy I made the move home.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, I had my one of my elders got ill with me, so I came back to take care of them. But after
Mm.
they got into remission and got better, I had an opportunity to move. I still have the opportunity now with my drag to move to a bigger town, but I don't know, I just can't. Like I said, I just love seeing my own people. There's so much work that needs to be done, especially for like my tribe is like one of the largest tribes, and there's a lot of work to do. I mean, we have a effed up president right now that it's so backwards, but um, I even call out my own people. Like, there's a lot of my people that if it doesn't affect them or it doesn't benefit them, they won't help. And leaning to that, it's like a lot of our elders need help still. A lot of our unsheltered relatives need help. And so that's why I'm like, if I have a voice and I have a platform, I'm going to use it to protect them and help them, whether it's just me. But yeah, that's why I'm like, I need to stay here. I don't need to be back in the city. Also, it's still expensive.
Yeah, it is. But like where I'm at, like I'm 2 hours away from anything, so that like anything out here is very expensive. So we have to travel 2 hours for
Yeah.
like any like store.
I get it.
Um,
I get it. I
yeah,
mean, I have to travel. Everybody's like, you fly a lot. I'm like, yeah, so that means I have to travel about three, like 3 hours to the airport just to get to an airport.
that's same for me for us too. 3 hours to an airport. You talked about a little bit about like ago about the oil companies that are like affecting your res, and like I just definitely want to talk about that because you mentioned is that where Hallno is, like is that
It's
that
closed.
there's an
It's closed.
okay.
Yes. Um, Hallno is closed, but that's more on the Arizona side. I'm closer to the
Oh, okay.
Four Corners area. So where I live was Farmington, where it was an oil field town. I mean, it still is. I mean, it was a big movement. Still now is producing a lot of oils. There was a lot of man camps back in the 80s and 70s and even the 60s. Um, but they've always been so like critical and disgusting towards indigenous people. There's still racism there just presenting as somebody that looks native. And it's still there. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know if you're in the Farmington. Hello, you. I'm talking to you. It's disgusting. And like I even where my mom lives, she lives near Gallup, and that's another border town that's thriving off of indigenous people. So I'm surrounded by it. And then even like maybe not too far is Flagstaff. Like these are like three Farmington, Flagstaff, Gallup, Albuquerque. These are towns that are border towns to big indigenous communities, whether it's the Diné tribe, whether it's the Pueblo tribes, the Apache tribes. We're surrounded by that, but we're the ones that are thriving these communities. Um, yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah,
So I shouldn't
and
say kinda, it
you
is gross.
yeah, it's incredibly gross because like you have the Hall No like situation, you have Protect Oak Flat, like that whole area, like it just like those. It seems like Arizona, the other couple other places you mentioned, all that Arizona,
Mhm.
like that the place is just like
Arizona, New
these oil.
Mexico. Yeah,
Yes. These the oil companies just like love like can't get away from it, and like obviously they see the money there, and they just like aren't thinking about like all that is affected once that oil is extracted.
yeah. Well, I mean, just even just extracting from the land, whether it's cold or whether um just different things from just taking stuff from the land, that's they're just extracting so much from the land that it's just like people don't realize that. My relatives don't realize that. Like I said, I'll call my own people out. Like if it's not affecting them, they're not going to bother by it. If they're gaining money or if they're getting any money from it, they're happy about it. But they don't think about the long term of how it's damaging the land, how it's damaging the people. They don't think about, they're thinking just about themselves. That's why I'm like, I wish we could go back to a time where we were a community and and we would come together. I think if we came together, not just as Indigenous people, but I think just people of color, if we came together, we would be so set off. But we're so critical amongst each other that if it doesn't benefit us or it doesn't affect us, nobody cares. Um, so we need more people to care and to think about the longevity and think about not just ourselves, but all of us as relatives.
Yeah, and I think well, even on like the res, I feel like sometimes the sense of community has been lost.
Oh yeah,
Like I
100%.
you know, well, and even like you mentioned this administration earlier, like so many people of color that I know fucking voted for this administration. So I don't like it's just very just very and some people were even like I thought it was funny
Right.
to vote
Well,
for.
some people are probably going to hate me for this and throw stones at me, but it's okay. I will say this. We've been through this before with other presidents and other administrations. This is not brand new.
Yeah.
Now, this current administration we have, some people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was happening. Hello, this has been happening for ages, but now it's affecting you and now you're worried. Welcome to the work. Come help us do the work now. Let's see what you can do. I just tell people we've been prepared for this. It's not brand new,
Hmm.
especially being somebody that's Indigenous, a person of color, somebody that lives on the reservation or our territory, somebody that is queer or trans. We were already built for this. So what we need to do is come together and survive this administration. But we've already been through this with so many presidents. I don't care, but also I'm just like I can't stand any of the presidents, period.
Facts. 100% facts. I agree.
I can't even stand my
And
own Navajo Nation president. He is just as garbage as that orange person. Ugh, so disgusting.
what that's interesting to think about. I never really thought about that. Like you guys have he's called a president.
Yeah, so we have a Navajo Nation president. So our territory, we have our own government. So um we have like our chapter members, which is like kind of like Congress, like the Senate, and then we have a president, a vice president. Um
Oh right, you said you were the big. You guys are the big. I forget about
yeah.
that. That you guys
So
are the
we have
biggest
our
tribe, right?
we have our own government tribe. Yeah. We're supposedly a sovereignty nation, but I don't know. We're not sovereignty right now.
I mean, if a politician's a politician, you know what I mean. Like no matter if they're native or not, I feel like
Yeah,
they're
this man over here doing his own full color spread of his a magazine. He even has like a little like coin that has his face on it. I'm like, who do you think you are? You're Walt Disney. You have pin trading. What is going on?
he's doing that. And he's still alive.
I'm still there. And then the biggest thing is he is taking money out of um, from the task force for MMR for missing and murdered Indigenous relatives and using it for him to travel with his team. Catch that, boo.
Sounds
Disgusting.
That sounds like tribal administration though. I mean I hear stories about
So
all kind of
far.
tribal administration doing that shit. Um, but yeah, I mean, politicians are politicians. They're gonna lie, and like if they're getting their money, their pockets lined, they're most likely gonna say whatever that person is like. You know what I mean? The person that's funding it, they're gonna say whatever
Yeah,
they want
like
them to
like I
say.
was just saying too, like that's why I said I call out my own people. If it's not affecting them or benefiting them, they're not going to budge, and that's exactly what it is. They
When
forget.
that's how I feel a lot of people like about the situation in Palestine, right?
Hmm.
They think, oh, like I'm not like my country's not getting bombed, but it's like our tax dollars are paying for that. We're like, and especially as indigenous people, we should be able to like like have empathy for that because it's the same exact thing that happened here.
Yeah.
So, talking about like land stuff in sorry I'm like I get going on some stuff sometimes talking about land I haven't asked this question in a while actually.
Give it to me.
um
Give it to me.
what does what does land back mean to you?
Oh my gosh, it means so much for me. I mean, it means a lot of stuff for other people. This is just strictly for me because a lot of people think that I
Hmm.
love to speak for my community, but I don't. I speak for myself and what I learn. I learn every day, and that's one of the biggest things. I think just reestablishing and healing our deep and cultural connections within our land, because this is our land. It don't matter where we all of this, the so-called US, that's all our land. And for me, that's all this is all our territory. And to reconnect with our identity, who we are as people, and who we're gonna grow or learn to become of who we are as Indigenous people, our practices, our teachings, our tradition, and even just our well-being of just who we are, and to come into this world. Because when we come into this world, we come into it very sacred and pure. So I think going back into that and leaving this earth physically pure again and comfortable, I think is something that would be considered land back. But then also for me is it's another term of just existing. Me sitting here in front of you is a form of land back. Holding space, taking up space. Um, Not so much educating because I'm tired of educating people, especially sometimes my own people, especially you white Karens out there, but just holding space and reclaiming your power as an Indigenous person. Especially, this is a shout out to all you trans, two spirit, by my queer community, taking your queerness, your transness as Indigenous people and being proud of who you are, where you're from, regardless of your blood quantum. Don't get me started on that. Um, just being being proud of who you are as an Indigenous person, I think, is a form of land back, of just existing and not holding anything back and being proud of existing as a queer Indigenous person. I think is one of my biggest things that I've learned, and I wish I learned sooner. But everything that I went through, I'm glad I did. So that's my form of land back. Obviously, I want land back, period. So if anybody's out there that was willing to give me some land or has the coin that I can buy the land, hit me up in my DMs. I'll gladly take it away from your white privilege ass.
And I think like a perfect example of like you taking up space is being on that HBO show.
Honey.
That's perfect.
Hopefully
You
it's
know, the
not the
prime
last
time.
HBO series. Oh,
It's not.
I also have a documentary that's finally out and is getting pitched around. So I'm excited for that. I don't know where it's gonna go, but hopefully it'll come around and it does well in the festivals. I don't know what that means. The director that made it was like, "Oh, we're pitching it here." I said, "I don't know what that means. Just let me know when I gotta hit the red carpet, and we'll go from there."
Let me know when I can come to the film festival and look cool on the red carpet. Then
Yeah,
I'll be there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
honey. Yes, we're gonna shut it down. Um, but yeah, I think just existing. I think that's the easiest way of having land back. We might not physically have land, but then also this is to like my queer community, my trans community too, that I found what land back too, especially like when I was living in the city, or especially when I went through a lot of dark times. Because I can proudly say that, I'm not proudly, but I can say that I am a suicide survivor twice. And a lot of times when I had dark moments, I relied on the land. So we're so caught up in technology. If anybody's watching from their computer or their TV or their phone, we have our phone, we have technology we have the world at our hand. Um, and a lot of people, I see it all the time when I go out for dinner or, I'm out about, people are just on constantly on social media, on their phones, they're forgetting how to communicate with language, with touch, with feelings, with connection. And so I went through a really dark space, and when I did that, I forgot about the land. So me going back into the land and talking, I talked to the water, a river that's really close to my house. I went and immersed myself. At that time I was in a really dark space, and I cried and I prayed and I talked to the water, because water is the feminine energy. And I kind of found like a connection or like a reconnection back to the land. I think us as Indigenous queer people, trans people, that we need to remember to put our technology down and immerse ourselves back into the land. Stay thankful. I challenge anyone on here, after you watch this, go outside, take off your shoes, put your toes in the ground, in the sand, in the dirt, in the rocks, in the grass, in the trees, wherever, and just talk to the land. They're listening. That's why I always say I'm lucky because as a queer person, we have our own chosen family, that we have our own community where we can choose the family to accept us and love us. But also as an Indigenous queer trans two-spirit person, we also have the land that's our mother, our father, our brothers, our sisters. So we literally have so much love. That's why we're so special to be Indigenous, Two Spirit, trans, and queer people. Is because we have so much love, whether it's from our family of the land, or whether it's our chosen family, or whether it's our birth family. So I challenge you all to do that. Just don't forget, put the phone down just for a moment and remember the land is beautiful, it is sacred, and we need to protect her.
I agree, and sending shout out to all of our two spirit relatives out there, because I feel like you hear like MMIW, right? You hear MMIP a lot lately, but like not a lot of times do people add in that two spirit, like
Right.
because that happens to our two spirit relatives too. So I always want to like try to like shout that aspect out as well.
Yeah, it's hard for me because like Two Spirit, not a lot of people identify for Two Spirit because that's kind of a new term. You know that like
Okay,
different tribes have different terminology for Two Spirit people in their culture.
yeah,
So some people don't identify. That's why I like to say, like, for me, universal is queer. Like, I love queer. I used to get teased by it. I took that power back and I said, you know what? I'm queer. I'm an FAG. I took that power back. Anybody can call me that, and you're not going to bother me. You're just going to be like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But I think like Two Spirits, like, there's different terminology for different tribes. So some people might not identify as Two Spirit, and that's okay. You can identify how you want to, and that's the beauty part of who we are.
yeah, and I'm like very interested by that. The I don't know. I don't feel comfortable saying the Q word, but like I realize like a
Oh my
lot.
God,
It
I'm
is
so
like
sorry.
coming back.
I said it like 50 times already.
No, I just I won't
Okay.
say it like I won't say it like just because I grew up when that was like the thing people said, right,
Mhm.
that and oh that's gay. So like I just like in my brain it just goes back to like when it was an insult, and I definitely do understand people are like you said taking the power back in
Mhm.
that word.
It'll come a while because I thought the same thing. Like I used to hate that. I used to hate the word queer. I used to hate the word sissy. I used to hate the word FAG.
Hmm.
I think the other one was it. I was like, oh gosh, really?
I never
But
heard that one honestly.
yeah, I think it's a little bit more derogatory because it's like you don't even get a terminology. But
Oh,
also,
I see like being called it.
yeah,
I see. Because
but
I was like,
yeah, I mean, they were trying to be they were trying to be non-binary and call me it, maybe.
uh,
But
yeah,
even
that's
that,
and
like we've come into a place where we have pronouns. Like I had my journey with that too. Like I don't go out of my way to say I'm two spirit. But if somebody does call me, I'll take it.
hmm
Like in my culture, it's called nakle, which would be considered who I am as a queer feminine person in my language. But even as like the pronouns, like when I do drag, like majority of people think she, her, or they, them. I even identified as non-binary for a while. It was until I talked to a medicine person where I was like, how do I process this? Because I still feel like me considering myself non-binary, um, and like they, them, I don't, it still feels like I'm labeling myself in the binary spectrum. Like how do I do this? Like, what would you suggest? And they're like, you know what? You just need to exist. Because back when I was your age, we never were like, hey, these are my pronouns. This is how I identify. We just existed. So like when
Mm.
somebody says, "What's your pronouns?" I say "shug," or I say "relative." That's why I think relative for me hits so hard because that's my universal term for everybody, regardless of your gender, your orientation, your race, your class. You're a relative to me because we all live here on Mother Earth. So that's why I said I've had a journey with how I identify and present myself. So now it's just Shug, the relative, and that's it. That's my pronouns because I just want to exist. I am who I am, and I just don't want to be put in a box or a label, if that makes sense. But I get
Yeah.
what people need to do if they need to have pronouns or how to identify. There's some people that need that. But also, this is the call out to them. Like, don't be so critical to our relatives if they don't get it right the first time. It's a long process. Even my mom, teaching my mom how to make it more like inclusive and not put a gender on it or to just kind of like it's hard. I mean, I'm from the community and I still get it wrong occasionally. And I also do drag, so everything is feminine led. It's girl, it's bitch, it's all like it's and people get offended. They're like, "Hey, I'm not a girl." I was like, I'm sorry. Like everything for me is just hyper feminine, so you're just gonna have to take it. But I understand the people that
Yeah.
need pronouns and to exist, and I respect that. But also me, I'm just like I'm shook. That's it.
Yeah. And I so yeah, I'm just trying to like, I really agree with that. I really like what you said. And I agree with like giving people like the time and space to try. If they're not trying, then yeah,
Oh
definitely
yeah,
call them out.
that's a different story. If they're trying to be
Yeah,
hateful
yeah,
and despiteful, that's
yeah.
why I said anybody can call me. They can call me he, him, they. I don't care. But if you're doing it in a way to be derogatory or to be despiteful or hateful, then that's like whoa, 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 hold on. Yeah, I agree.
Because a while back, I just got laced with game. Like, no matter what, just go they them.
Hmm.
Until the person tells you, or if you feel comfortable asking the person, you know what I mean. Just like go they them until they tell you, like you said, call me whatever, or Lady Shug, or you know what I mean. Like,
Correct.
so I've like tried to like practice that. And I grew up in on the res where it's like extremely homophobic growing up.
Oh yeah,
So I'm doing everything I
it's still
can to
there.
rewire my brain. You know what I mean? Because have conversations like this, so like my brain can like do its best to get away from like that thought process.
Yeah, it's
Because it
still
was
there.
it like yeah it's still like, you know what I mean? Like yeah, I grew up in a society that like really loved that type of putting down type of shit,
Yeah.
especially on the res. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, my people are cutthroat with that. But it's okay. If they get me on the right day, they're gonna be. I'm gonna read them for filth.
Yeah, and like I just those people that are still in that thought process, I kind of try to like I just don't go around
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? Like
I always get it
I don't
all the
want that.
time. They're like, as a Danette woman, the Danette women don't wear that much makeup like you do. They don't wear nails like you do. They don't. I'm like, are you serious? Really? I was like, you need to quit with your colonial mindset. Even with like when super like the Sunny Boys and the very insecure native men are like, oh, that's the FAG shit. I'm just like, get off your little high horse and your little colonial ways. Get away. Go.
Well,
No
I've
time.
said this like numerous times. Like I feel like those guys are just like jealous because like other people are living their best lives and like able to express themselves in ways that they're not, or they're like really like holding in certain thoughts that they like,
Mhm.
they like things that they want to express themselves.
Yeah. I mean, we all have feminine energy. We all have masculine energy in our bodies, in our auras. That's how we were birthed. Um, So they have no excuse because that's why I always, how I pissed them off. You know how I pissed them off. I tell them when oh gosh, maybe I'm spilling too much tea. So I tell them, When they try to get me, I said, "Hey, guess what?" I said, "You're just a sissy like me." I said, "You have so much femininity in you. It's in your body. It's in your aura, and you can't take it away. No matter how much you could go to church, you could put bleach in your mouth. You still have some femininity, some sissiness, some queenness up in you, but you just don't. You're just hiding it. It's okay. It's okay."
Hmm. And that's why it's coming out in the way that it's coming out,
Right.
like in an angry way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they're just doing whatever they can to hold that in and just holster it. So like I like to ask this question to everybody, because I like to just get people's perspective on what they would tell their younger self. So I like to ask, like, what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
16. Oh God.
Or you can go older too, you can go 21,
I'm just
or
kidding.
just younger self.
You
It
know
can
what?
just be a younger self.
Um, I don't know if I would want to tell my younger self anything the knowledge I know now, because what I went through, the hardship, the trauma, even the love and the compassion I got as a young folk, um, it built me for who I am today. I think if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you.
Mm,
Um, but to answer your question, I probably would tell myself the truth that it's not going to be easy. These white people love, especially as a queer person, as a trans, as part of the community. Um, I think a lot of white people love to put it gets better. No, it doesn't. It gets harder. People don't realize, especially if you're indigenous and you live on your territory, it's going to be rough, very rough. So I think I would tell myself to brace myself. It's not going to get easy. It's going to be hard, but if you stick with it, and you will be a better person. Um, I think that's what I would tell my younger self, because I think a lot of times people, I even tell my youth too. Like if I do anything like with Story Hour, I tell them, you know, be prepared. You're gonna have a lot more downfalls, a lot more negativity than you are going to be positive. But then when the positive stuff, the good stuff happen, it's a triumph. But there are a lot, especially as for my indigenous, queer, and trans kids, it's rough. It's very rough. And so I guess I would, I would tell myself or brace myself to be like, just, you're going to deal with a lot of shit and a lot of trauma and hurt. Um, but just hang in there. I don't know where this campaign came that said it gets better. I'm like, why are we lying to our children? We need to let them know. But that's when
shit
you
gets rough.
that's when you rely on community, whether it's your birth family, whether it's your chosen family, whether it's the land that you go to, or even our four-legged animals. They are our relatives too. Like I had a four-legged animal that, oh my gosh, I had horses, I had dogs, I had so many animals that helped me survive and go through what I went through as a young queer person living on a reservation, isolated, was my four-legged animals were my best friends. So yeah, we got to remember our four-legged animals. Please protect. Oh my gosh, living in my territory, you see so many strays, and I feel so bad for them. Oh
Protect your local res dogs.
yeah,
I feed I got 6 cats that I feed out in my backyard. They're mine now because they let me pet them and stuff. But there's a couple other feral ones that come around, and I want to get them fixed so we can like help the population of like the, because there's like you said, there's strays all over the res. And I love cats and I like all
yeah,
that, but like I definitely like the population is huge. You know what I mean? So we gotta
yeah,
try to like keep it cool. But
yeah.
yeah,
That's what I would tell
I don't
myself.
think
I don't know if it's politically correct, but that's what I would tell myself.
I don't think anybody, I've asked that question like at least like 15 times now. And I don't think anybody went with the angle of like, I don't think I would tell would it like I don't know if I would tell myself anything because
Yeah.
of what I went through, like you said, is the reason why I'm here.
I mean, if I
Um
did tell them everything that I knew today, I probably would just be this arrogant, hot ass. Nobody ain't gonna tell me different. Well, I mean, granted, it's now, but I would be so cocky at a young age. Oh my gosh.
Well, I always like to try to say like I don't know if I would listen. Like I was stubborn as fuck at 16. Like
Mhm.
I wasn't listening to anybody. So I don't know if I would even listen to myself, to be honest. So that's what I always say.
You can tell we're having good conversation because I've been laughing and having a good time that my eyes is watering.
That's beautiful. I love that. Is there any other topics that you want to bring up that I kind of didn't bring up or touch on, or any more shout outs that you want to give? Like any of your, like you meant you gave a shout out to your mentor or any other folks that are on the drag runs that you want to give a shout out to, or anything like that, whatever it may be.
Yeah, so and before our so if y'all don't know, we have a green room before we record this lovely thing. I'm spilling all your tea. We talked about one of my mentors that I had, Cleve Benali, that we lost almost 2 years ago now. He was one of my mentors and taught me what mutual aid was and what Indigenous resistance was. And a lot of times I wanted to do the work and I wanted to um, support and uplift and be a part of Indigenous resistance and to do the work of colonialism, to break the colonialism and heteropatriarchy and just exist as a queer Indigenous person. And a lot of times I was put in these spaces where a lot of, I'm not going to lie, a lot of these grassroots organizers and groups are led by academia. If you're not smart, or even by hierarchy, even though it should not be, this group should not be by hierarchy. Like if you don't talk to
Mm-hmm.
this person, or if you don't listen to how they view stuff, that your presence or your voice is not valid. So a lot of times I was very timid. It was kind of like me going back into drag, basically. And so a lot of these spaces, I was around academia, people that went to school and very high educated. I didn't. I was a dropout. But then also, I wasn't about hierarchy. Like if you said something that they didn't agree with, you were kicked out, or they were whatever. Or either I was the token queer or trans person of the organizing group. It was until I came across this relative that we lost, Klebanali, that he took me kind of under his wing, and he was like, you know what, your presence is amazing. You're who you are as a person, kind of like my drag mother, if you would. Clee became my drag mother. He taught me how to create and how to organize. And I always wanted to do something, but do more. But like I said, I was always like suppressed, or like I was always kept in this little bubble with these other groups that I was a part of. I won't say what the groups are. They know who they are. Um, but I was tired of being the token gay trans person of the group. So I was like, I kind of stepped back, and then Clee sat me down and was like, why don't you do this on your own? You do drag. Why don't you intertwine the two? And I was like, I I don't I don't think so. I don't know if that will work. And the first like conference, or the first organizing thing I did, it was a hit. Shug like became, I hate the word activist because I'm not an activist. I do this because I want to.
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird. Yeah, I agree.
but and I became an activist. I started being more political. I started doing the work, and I was like, oh my God, I can do this with my drag. And I started intertwining it into my performance numbers. I started being more vocal about issues regarding Indigenous people and the resistance of Indigenous people. That started making me more stronger and my voice louder. And I was like, well, I can do this on my own. I can start my own mutual aid. So that's where I started the Ship Challenge. And so if it wasn't for him, I have to credit him. If it wasn't for him to give me a chance, or to uplift me and actually see me as a person instead of somebody to benefit an organizer, he saw me as a person and he saw my voice. So my drag has become more political. It's become more in your face, and it's become amazing for me. And so I'm so thankful for him. And I know that we mentioned him for a little bit because his birthday was not a few days ago. So Clee, thank you for being who you are and giving me a voice and a platform. I'm actually wearing one of the dresses that he made me, like designed me. It says, I'm sitting down, but I don't want to stand up. It says, Indigenous resistance is queer as fuck. So this is one of the dresses he made me, at one of his last performances with me that we did a duet together. And so I thank you for giving me a chance and uplifting me for the person that I am today. So happy birthday, and we miss you.
He was like I only had a couple interactions with him because I didn't find out about what his work in like a couple years ago. But as soon as I like found out about it, I just like I was inspired. Like the fire within him, like I don't know. There's just something about him, and I know like I've heard that because he didn't like people to look up to him in that way, but like I couldn't help but do that.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like everything inside me like couldn't help but be like, when you're a kid and you're around that older kid that is like cooler to you, that you're cool, you assume cool. That's how I felt. Like when I would just like had that podcast episode with him, just like that whole time I was just like, I don't know how to like hold it in and like act like I'm not incredibly excited right now.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I know. He's probably cringy right now of us giving him too much attention. Yeah, he was very much that relative was like, nah, 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 you're doing too much. But the flowers need to be given where the flowers need to be given. But I just want him to know that there's people like you, people like me that are continuing the work in his legacy. Um, so yeah.
100%. And happy birthday, Clee. And yeah, I can't like express how much like I am grateful for that conversation I was able to have with him on the episode.
Yeah. I know I watch it a few
So,
times, so thank you for documenting it.
and I like you said, you told me that you're able to go back and watch that like whenever you want. You know what I mean, and hear his voice, see his facial expressions, all of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean.
that was
So
crazy because like talking about that, and not just because it would have been his birthday around this time. I have, like I said, my mutual aid, which is the Shook Challenge. Um, so I have normally have like packets like for unsheltered relatives, and last night I forget that it's getting cold really, really quickly. And so I didn't have no jackets, I didn't have no sleeping bags, I had nothing. I had like the basics, which is like hand warmers, beanies, socks, soap, toothbrushes, deodorant. Like I have little packets in my car all the time. So when I go to like the border towns and stuff, like I'll give them to my relatives. But the relatives were asking, "Hey, can you get me a jacket or do you have a blanket?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was driving home and I was like talking to Cleo. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I'm usually on the ball, so of mutual aid." So I was like, "I need to get my mutual aid back in where it used to be of just like having everything blankets and get ready for the winter." So yeah, with this interview, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do it because I wasn't feeling well earlier. But now I feel great. I feel inspired. I'm excited that I did it. And just thinking of him and doing this with you, it's just like making me kind of re energize myself to be like, okay, I need to go out and distribute tonight in this cold weather.
And honestly, before the podcast, before doing any of this, speaking at events, doing and not MC stuff, that's where I started everything. Was like feeding the unhoused community in Santa Cruz. So that's where I like my heart is ultimately wanting to be. It's just at a certain point, it was like hurting my mental health. Like, cause
Oh,
I was
yeah,
trying to help everybody. I
it
was
does.
trying to get everything that everybody asked for, and I was like, okay, I need a little break because my
Yep.
mental health is like. But definitely, I want to be able to support you in that. So, is there any way that anywhere people can support that? Like, is
Yeah.
there a GoFundMe? Is there a website that people can donate to?
Yeah. I have, I think it's like is it Linktree?
Yeah, I think I saw that in your link tree.
Your
There's a
aunt, yeah,
GoFundMe.
your auntie's old, but I think my assistant he did a link tree. So there is a place where you can do monetary, but then also I have merchandise. I have stickers. I have T-shirts. That majority of that goes to mutual aid, so I buy supplies, and I just started rebeading stuff. Um, so I'm doing beadwork, and that will help because I need to buy some blankets and tents and jackets because winter's coming.
I,
So all you gotta do is just look up hashtag Shug Challenge. Like I said, I can do monetary donations. You can buy my merchandise. You can buy my beadwork. You can also just ask me. One of the relatives, they saw me HBO. They're like, "Hey, we want to donate $20. Can you do a cameo for my auntie's birthday?" I said, "Of course." So I did a cameo for somebody, so I could do a video. Um, but also just booking me in general. Like, if you know of anybody, if you know a museum, if you know a pride organization, if you know an Indian center that would love to have a drag show or even drag story hour, we are there. So just reach out to me. I'm trying to get on the TikTok trend. Everybody wants me to get on TikTok, but I'm more an Instagram relative. So I'm more active on Instagram. Also, my assistant kind of monitors that too. So there's always going to be an answer, whether it's me or my assistant. You can reach me out there, or also you can reach me out at bookladyshuggdrag@gmail.com. But yeah, I would love to go see everybody's territory in all of the world. And I'm so thankful to be a part of this. This has been in the making. I know I'm not the first drag artist you had, but probably the most prettiest.
yes, yes, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, the
Yeah,
girls are
like I
gonna hate me.
said, nah. Yeah, I like to highlight because there's we have indigenous people all over the every crack in every community we're in. We just got to highlight it and let people know we're still here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I have a
thank you
list.
for
I
coming
have
on.
a list of people that I probably would. I think was perfect for your show. That I
Send
was
them my
gonna.
way. I'm super down. I always want to amplify as many and people make suggestions like, hey, you should interview this type of person too. So
Wait, so who
always
suggested me?
um well,
Good,
we've been trying to make this happen
good,
for a while,
good.
actually. So
Oh
and
no,
I can't
I was
remember.
hoping it was gonna be in person because I love your in person interviews. I think they're so campy, so raw, and so cute.
Well, I was gonna say eventually I'm gonna have a live show, and we'll have to have you perform one of these days, and then that's when the live episode will happen.
I love that. There
Like
you
this
go.
is all, and then also I wanted to say earlier, you said that you hope that it's not your last HBO show. It's not gonna be because we're speaking it into existence right here.
Yeah, the Indigenous drag race.
Yep, 100%. So I just want to say thank you so much, Yahui. Thank you. That it just means a lot for you to be able to come on, take time out of your day, and tell your story, and just just have fun. Like right off the bat, it was like, all right, this is gonna be fun. That joke was just amazing.
What joke? I am white.
The the Caucasian joke where you're like, I'm Caucasian. So right off the bat, I was like, this is gonna be a fun. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, I think I hold on. I can show you the ones. Hold on.
Okay,
Oop. Sorry, I'm not wearing any bottoms. Hope nobody saw
you're
anything.
good.
Okay. You're gonna edit this out, right?
Nope. Nobody saw anything.
I said you're gonna edit this out. Yeah.
And we can actually end the show
Oh,
right
we can't.
now.
Okay.
So
No,
I can
I was gonna show it so you could.